What's up everyone, my name's Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Infinite Fusion and today's challenge will be can I beat Pokemon Infinite Fusion using only Blastoise Fusion. Now I actually want to do Charizard because Charizard is my favorite Kanto starter, but someone's already done, like 10 other people have done that at this point. So I decided to go a different route. I decided to use Blastoise only. So Blastoise actually was my first ever Pokemon. Well, I mean, Squirtle was my first ever Pokemon in my first ever Pokemon game, which was Leaf Green in 2006. So I don't know if any of my viewers known anything from 2006. I was 6 years old in 2006. I don't think that's such a long time ago, almost 20 years ago, my first Pokemon game. Anyways, the challenge today will be trying to beat Infinite Fusion using only Blastoise Fusion. So that means I have to use Blastoise as a base Pokemon and use other Pokemon to fuse within it. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. I spent a lot of time. No reason at all. I could just go in the game, but I spent a lot of time researching what forms I actually want to use, so it's actually more exciting for me to use. For instance, like this Blastoise fusion with Groudon, I'm never going to use because I don't know where to get Groudon, but it's so cool. But besides that, the rules of this challenge will be pretty simple. We have to beat Infinite Fusion, and all our Pokemon that are used, we have to use Blastoise as a fusion material, and as well, there are no items inside the battle. You can use hell items, but you can't use bag items. We also play on set mode, so it's a little harder, and also we play on hard mode, so the levels are a little higher, and it's going to be more difficult. We're also playing on modern mode, so we have access to more Pokemon, so it's going to be pretty interesting. And on top of that, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments, so thanks so much for leaving a nickname in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after your future Pokemon, just drop it in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So to start off with, we have to use Squirtle as our starter Pokemon. Now, ironically, I lost the rival battle fight here because I chose Squirtle as a custom Pokemon, trying to avoid our rival using like Venusaur or something. No, it has a ghost Pokemon, so I can't even hit him. So that really backfired for me. So I lose the first battle and I lose out an XP, but I move out. Eventually, our first Pokemon we're going to catch is going to be a Bidoof. Now, Bidoof actually evolves pretty early and is a decent Pokemon, has pretty tanky stats. Now I actually want to use this, catch specifically a simple ability Bidoof, which will evolve into Bibarel with Simple. Simple gives you an additional boost if you use like boosting moves, so it goes up by one stage. If it use Defense Curl, it actually raises sharply, and if you use like Swords Dance, it will raise it drastically. It will be really good when I start sweeping Pokemon with my Bibarel. But to get to that point, we have to start training up our Pokemon, so that's what we do. We're gonna evolve our Bee Turtle into, well, I think it's still Bee Turtle, Bibarel War Turtle. So I think it's still Bee Turtle. I'm able to, unfortunately, if I ever face off against Brock, I use the same strategy each time. I use Mud Slap. I'm glad they have a Mud Slap move turtle. I think they know what they're doing here, but it's still very difficult to beat Brock somehow. If I ever get leech seeded by this Shroomiard, the battle is over and I have to just quit out immediately. It doesn't even end the fight if I beat the Shroomiard. If I face off against the Steve Jr., I'm still possibly able to lose if he doesn't miss his moves when I use Mud Slap. But when we start the battle off against Brock, the very first gym leader in the game, we're going to immediately go for headbutts to just knock out the Shroomiard. And lucky enough, we get flinches on him, so we're able to knock him out. And then his next Pokemon will be a Steve Jr., which is a Steelix and Mime Jr., so that means it's going to be a little tanky. So eventually we're going to knock him out with Mud Slap, even though we use a lot of PP here, and for some reason I use Rollouts. Rollouts can come in handy later on, but we're able to knock out Steve Jr. and we're able to beat down Brock for our first gym badge. Now moving on, we can go into Mount Moon, and it's a little troubling to face off against Mount Moon with only one Pokemon, but we make it through, which isn't too bad. And from there, we're going to face off against Misty. Now Misty is actually a pretty tough battle. We can't actually get past her with just Mud Slap, so she's not gonna really miss any moves, and if I get too low on HP, her next Pokemon is just gonna sweep me down. So we have to start the battle off against Misty using my Bee Turtle, using Yawn first against the Clay Rogue, and then using Mud Slap to hopefully like make it miss any moves. And while it's asleep, we're able to build up Rollout turns. Rollout, I'm pretty sure you guys know, is a continually attacking move where it goes up to 5 turns, and each turn I think it doubles in power. So I think we're at 4 turns, so our Rollout should be 100 power, as we're able to just one-shot the Mamrus, which is Mantine and Lapras, and we're able to one-shot it and knock them out as we get a second gym badge in the game. Now from there, we're gonna actually start fusing a bunch of random Pokemon. Now the point of this is we're actually gonna go and do this quest line. So we talk to this Professor Aid. We're gonna have to fuse our Pokemon 5 different times, and once we're done with that, we're able to get the XP share from this Professor Aid, and that will activate a second quest. We're able to go into the grass in routes 24, I think. Once you're in the grass, you're able to catch yourselves an Abra, and once you get this Abra, you can talk to the Professor Aid. You show her this Abra, and then you get the Poke Radar. Now the Poke Radar in this game is a lot different from other ROM hacks or fan games, because you have to, it's basically the actual Pokeradar from the games. It'll shake 3 grass and you have to look into the grass. I found out from other videos that you have to encounter all the Pokemon first to find yourselves the special encounter, which is going to be Squirtle in this route. So we're obviously going to need a bunch more Squirtles to do this whole Blastoise fusion only. So it's a 1% encounter and you have to do all this, so it's kind of tedious and it's very difficult. But lucky enough, since we're doing the Pokeradar, if we do find a Pokemon, we're able to chain it pretty well. So we actually found 4 Squirtles in a row. Unfortunately, their changes broke randomly, but that's fine, as we're able to just encounter our 5th one and catch that one as well. So we have 5 Squirtles. As well, we're going to go into Route 6 or 7, I'm not too sure. But the route right below Cerulean City, we're able to find ourselves a Bulbasaur using the same technique. And we got 2 starter Pokemon. We're going to obviously combine our Bulbasaur and our Squirtle together and also eventually evolve it. Can't evolve it into a Blastoise just yet, but we're able to evolve it into a Warsaw, which is going to be War Turtle and Venusaur. And then from there, we're going to face off against Lieutenant Surge next. Lieutenant Surge is the 3rd gym leader in the game. He's going to start the battle off against us using a Nose Key, which we're able to go for 2 Aqua Tails. He gets me paralyzed, kind of annoying. We're able to knock him out with my Aqua Tail. His next Pokemon will be a Houndlade, which is Gallade and Houndoom, which is kind of cool looking. He gets a bulk up against us. We're able to go for an Aqua Tail and still almost 2-shot him. It's not super effective, but eventually we're able to just knock him out with a 2nd Aqua Tail, and then his next Pokemon will be his final Pokemon, which will be a Fletch and Chop, which we just go out into our Warsaw, which is able to go for a Water Pulse and just knocks him out easily, as we're able to beat down Lieutenant Surge and get our 3rd gym badge. Now from there, our Pokemon are getting pretty high in levels because we go into the Rock Tunnel. We also evolve our Warsaw into a Blastoise, then evolve our Turtle into a Beastoise, which is pretty cool. Not gonna lie, this is why I kind of chose Barrow, because its sprite is really cool looking. I don't know. And also this Blastoise, it's a Pokemon that I encountered earlier on when I played Infinite Fusion for like the first time. It looked pretty cool. It did a lot of damage to me and was a big threat to me. I decided to try this out. As well, we're gonna go back into the route right before Rock Tunnel and find ourselves a Magnemite, which we're gonna fuse together with our Squirtle, which is gonna be really nice. We're gonna evolve that real quick, as we're also gonna go into Route 19. And in Route 19, we're able to catch ourselves an Axew in here, which, you know, we always want a Dragon-type Pokemon, but we're going to switch up the Dragon-type Pokemon we want to use, which is going to be a Haxorus, which is going to look really cool later on, I'm not going to lie. From there, we're going to face off against Giovanni, and we barely beat him, as we're going to face off against Erica next. Erica is the 4th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Blaster. Blaster is able to go for Dragoness against the Typter. In the following turn, I'm able to go for an Aqua Tail and knock him out in 1 shot. I get Sticky Barbs, which is such a stupid item. I don't know anyone that used Sticky Barbs in real life, but from there, she's going to switch out into her Galvantron, which I'm able to go for 2 Dragon Claws and knock out pretty easily, survive a Dizzy Punch, and then go down to the Sticky Barbs. Such a stupid item. From there, we can go out to my Blaston, which is able to go for a Thunder Wave against the Butter Guys. Flash Cannon does a little bit, but from there, I could go out into my Blastoise, which is able to go for a Water Pulse and knock him out pretty easily. From there, we can go out east of Vermilion City and activate the Snorlax, capture the Snorlax for the leftovers, and also activate Janine for Strength Leader. And from there, we can go out into Fuchsia City and go into the Safari Zone, which we're able to make our way all the way to the Volcarona and then save and reset, just so we have a save point so we can reset against the Volcarona if we fail. But we're able to catch the Volcarona pretty easily, yeah. First try too. You know, that's relieving, also kind of annoying because I've done this so many times, and before I realized how to do the save glitch, I had to save outside of the Safari Zone and make my way through. We're going to fuse together our Volcarona and our Squirtle to get a Volcatole. From there, we're able to evolve it and then evolve our Blaster into a Blastoise, which Blaster is kind of go crazy. What the? That is a cool name. So from there, we're gonna face off against Koga. Koga is the 5th gym leader in the game. We're gonna start the battle off against him using my Blastoise. Blastoise is able to go for a Sword Sense in front of the Umtera, which is actually not an Umtera. It's actually a fake Pokemon. It's actually an illusion Pokemon, which we're able to knock out pretty easily. This Reuniroark, we're able to go for a Dragon Claw in 1 shot. His next Pokemon will be a Weavflame. Goes down in 1 shot as well, and the next Pokemon will be a Honchivore, which I assume is going to be a fairy type. Everything's a fairy type if it can be. Aqua Tail to knock him out in 1 shot, and oh, it survived with a Focus Sash, but I'm able to knock him out in the following turn, and his final Pokemon will be his Umtera for real. Dragon Claw to knock him out as we're able to beat down Koga, and now we can move on into Silphco. Now Silphco is a pretty easy place to go through. Now you could actually skip this, but we want to actually save all the hostages for a reason. You actually get a reward for saving all the hostages. So we're able to get ourselves a Lapras from the Scientist, and then from there we're going to face off against our rival in Silphco. We're going to clear through him easily, and then face off against Giovanni in this double battle fight with my rival. So I don't know what he was doing. I don't know why he tried to stop me and then face off against Giovanni with me. He's got some issues. But from there, once we beat Giovanni, we're able to fuse together Squirtle and Lapras and evolve it into a Blastoise, which is so cool looking. Look at it. It's so angry, but it's like a tank as well. Blastoise can be a really fun Pokemon to use, but from there, we're going to move out and face off against Sabrina next. Sabrina is going to be the 6th gym leader in the game. Against her Sylveotion with my B-Toys, it's going to use a Lava Plume against me, and I use Swords Dance. It sharply increases, so I'm like, what? Where is my simple increase? But I'm able to knock out Sylveotion. There, Miracle will come out, but I go out into my Blastoise. I'm able to go for a Water Pulse. It almost knocks me out with 1 Earthquake, so that's kind of annoying. So Blastoise goes down. I go out to my Blastoise, which I'm able to go for a Aqua Tail and knock out. Her next Pokemon will be a Driftwell, which I'm able to go for a Swords Dance and then mess up going for a Dragon Dance. I should have assumed that it was a Fairy type. It goes for Play Rough. I survive it though. I'm able to go for an Aqua Tail to knock him out at least. Survive an Aftermath. And then her next Pokemon will be a Clefix, which I'm able to get some chip with my Aqua Tail. I go out to my Volcatoise. Volcatoise is able to go for a Quiver Dance, survive any move. I go for a Fiery Dance, almost knocks him out, and then get a special attack boost anyway. So I'm able to knock him out in the following turn. So it's going to heal up, but it works out. We're able to knock him out in 2 more shots. As we're able to beat down Sabrina and get our 6th gym badge in the game. Super simple. Now from there, we're going to move out into Cinnabar Island. There's not much for us to do in Cinnabar Island for once, so we're going to just go through, answer all the questions almost completely right. You know, just kind of forgot which one was which. I think there's 6 questions. I answered 4 of them right. So that's a passing grade for me. So from there, we're going to move out and face off against Blaine next. Blaine is the 7th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Venutoise, which I'm going to go for a Sleep Powder and then Leech Seed against him and then surf him down slowly. It's very slowly. Eventually knock out his Klinkferrig. His next Pokemon will be his Allosaur, which I go for Sleep Powder, but he's going to knock me out with a Sludge Bomb. I go out into my Blastoise, which I'm going to go for an Ice Beam and freeze it. I think that's the first freeze I've seen on my side. So I'm able to knock him out with 2 Ice Beams, and then his next Pokemon will be a Xano, which he baton passes to his Toga Nucleus. From there, I'm able to go for 2 Ice Beams and a Surf to knock him out. His next Pokemon will be his Xano, and I'm able to survive pretty long. You know, Blastoise is very tanky, as I'm able to go out into my Volcatoise and then go for a Quiver Dance and then go for a Bug Buzz to knock him out as he survives with a Focus Sash, but he can't survive another one. As we're able to beat down Blaine, get the 7th gym badge in the game, and then move out into the surfing puzzle, which a lot of people in the comments are actually complaining. The surfing puzzle is very difficult. Thinking back to it, the first time I played through this game, the surfing puzzle was kind of difficult, but you know what? You guys do have a point. You know what? I rethought the idea. You guys are right. So from there, we're going to face off against Giovanni against his Zap Malkuno, which the best way to cheese this is using my Blastoise and going for a Paris Song. His head's so big, he gets blocked up by Zap Malkuno's HP bar. But from there, I just use a Parrot Song and then waste 3 turns, and all of them will be dead in 3 turns. So it actually works out for me, as we're able to just clear through this very easily. We're also going to go into Power Plant and get the Magnet Stone and evolve our Magneton into a Magnezone finally. From there, we're going to face off against Giovanni next, and Giovanni is not an easy fight. We choked so many times against him, like you could see, like I was like, oh my god, it's just wrong play. Just the wrong play. Should have been able to beat him at that point, but we're going to start the battle off against Giovanni using my Magnetoise. Magnetoise is able to go for a Flash Cannon, almost knock out his Zoshin. Does a lot of good damage, skin full restored. It's kind of annoying that the first turn goes like this, but it actually works out better for me because that means he doesn't have any more healing items, but it's just annoying to play against. From there, he's going to go out to his Polylurk, which I'm able to just Thunder Wave eventually. Unfortunately, I have to sack my Magnetoise and then go out into my Venutoise. Venutoise is able to knock him out with a Surf, and then his next Pokemon will be a Kekgon, which is the Zoshin. I'm able to go for a Surf and 2-shot the Kukin, which works out for me, and then his next Pokemon will be the Zoshin. I also knock out, which is nice. His next Pokemon will be his actual Kekgon, which knocks out my Venutoise. From there, I go out into my Blastoise, which I'm able to go for an Ice Beam. 2 Ice Beams would knock him out. Works out pretty well. His next Pokemon will be a Smeargar, which I'm able to just lose my Blastoise, and then I go out into my Volcatoise. He unfortunately is going to Sleep Powder. I don't end up knocking him out with a Bug Buzz, and then his Quick Claw activates 2 different times. I don't wake up any times at all, and then he's able to knock out my Volcatoise, which is so annoying. So from there, I go out to my Blastoise. I go for a Sword Sense on accident as he goes for Destiny Bond. So looking up, I did misclick, and it worked out for me as I'm able to go for an Aqua Tail once he hits me with a move, and I'm able to knock him out pretty easily. From there, we're going to move on from Giovanni, get the 8th gym badge, and also face off against a rival in Route 22. Pretty clear, pretty easy. And then face off against this guy with a Shedinjas. No, I'm not fighting this. I don't know how to fight this guy. I don't know what moves he's weak to, so I just always avoid him. From there, we're going to move out into the Victory Road, click through Victory Road pretty easily, head into the Pokemon League. From there, we can make our final adjustments and then face off against the Elite Four itself. Our first Elite Four member that we're going to face off against is going to be Lorelei. We're going to start the battle off against Lorelei using my Blastoise against her Paulillion, which I'm able to go for a Swords Dance and then go for a second one as she just wants to use Aqua Jet for some reason. So Dragon Dance up, and then I'm able to Dragon Claw twice to knock out the Paulillion. It's going to waste a lot of full restores. For some reason, this Kingdrio still outspeeds me because Swiftwind is broken. I'm going to go for Dragon Claw and knock him out at least, and then her next Pokemon will be a Gyaraku. I assume it's going to be a Fairy type, so I went for Aqua Tail. Almost knocks him out, but it's going to knock me out with a Play Rough. Kind of annoying, but it works out. I go out to my Blastoise, which is able to go for Aqua Tail to knock out the Gyaraku, and then Aqua Tail to almost knock out the Swamp Ray. It's going to knock me out, which is unfortunate, but I go out into my Volcanatoise, knock him out with a Bug Buzz. Then his next Pokemon will be a Spearmiku, which I go for a Quividence, and then from there I'm able to Bug Buzz, knock him out really easily, but I take a lot of damage with the inwards out, unfortunately. So that means Milotina will actually get a kill on my team, so that's the biggest embarrassment. So from there, I go out into my Blastoise. I could Ice Beam it down, but I decided to go for Parrot Song, just so I don't have to waste Ice Beam PP. Eventually, we'll knock out the Milotina as we're able to move on. Face off against Bruno next. We actually lose one time against Bruno, so we'll start the battle off against Bruno using my Blastoise, which go for a Swords Dance. Kind of unfortunate I don't have Simple. I'll take a Stealth Rocks and a Crunch pretty easily, and then knock him out with my Aqua Tail. His next Pokemon will be a Cray, which I made to go for a Yawn. It goes to sleep though, as he's gonna knock me out with a Thunderbolt. Kind of unfortunate, but I go out to my Blastoise next. Ice Beam does not do a lot of damage to him, as he's almost gonna one-shot me. I go out into my Blastoise next, which I made to go for a Swords Dance, take a Stone Edge, and then Dragon Claw. Just luckily knock him out, because I had no answer for that thing at all. His next Pokemon will be an Armatops, which I'm into Aqua Tail and knock out as well. His next Pokemon will be a Marrier, which I'm able to take. No, I did not take a Hammer Arm at all. I go out to my Venutoise. Venutoise is able to go for a Sleep Powder and then go for 2 Surfs against him to knock him out. His next Pokemon will be his Octostar, which I go for a Sleep Powder again. I go for a Surf and then Petal Dance, just so I could break the Focus Sash and then Petal Dance to knock him out. His final Pokemon will be his Probodon, which outspeeds me at least, but his Fire Blast doesn't do any damage, as a Petal Dance would knock him out, because I think I'm in Overgrowth as well, so I one-shot him pretty easily. And from there, we beat down Bruno, and we can move on and face off against Agatha next. Now, this fight might be the closest fight this entire journey. So we're going to start the battle off against Agatha, unfortunately using my Blastoise, which we're not going to do ever again, because she's going to start the battle off against us using a Clefairy. I go for a Swords Dance, it goes for Toxic Spikes immediately, so all my team will be toxic besides my Magnetoise. My Blastoise, you know what, I decided to stay in. I go for a Headbutt, trying to flinch it down. It's going to go for Minimize and then Toxic Spikes, and I'm getting so annoyed. So Blastoise really let them do everything. I go out into my Magnetoise next, I take a Moonblast. I'm eventually able to just land some Flash Cannon to knock him out, so that's nice. Her next Pokemon will be a Dust Plume. I go for a Thunder Wave and then Flash Cannon it. This can go for a Sleep Powder, which is kind of annoying. I'm not too sure if it's Sleep Claws. I'm assuming it's not a Sleep Claws in this game. It's going to knock me out with a Petal Dance as I go out into my Blastoise. I need to finish this fight quick because all my Pokemon are on a timer. So I go for a Swords Dance and then Dragon Claw immediately to knock out the Dust Plume. Her next Pokemon will be a Crowrose, which I'm able to knock out in one shot. Her next Pokemon will be a Shandabok, which if I didn't miss this Aqua Tail, oh my god, because I survived a Fire Blast and survived the Toxic. And Dragon Claw would knock him out, but I should have just went for Dragon Claw. I didn't know it would kill, so Shatterbug knocks me out. But her next Pokemon will be Umzing, which I didn't want to use my Blastoise right now, so I go out into my Volcatoise. Is able to go for a Quividence and then go for a Bug Buzz. Almost knocks him out as he's gonna go for a Sucker Punch. As I don't live that, he's gonna knock me out. I go out into my Venusaur. Venusaur at least will get a Surf off and knock out the Umzing. And his final Pokemon will be his Mo, which is going to be Muck and Ho-Oh. It has Venoshock, which all my Pokemon are poison, so it does double damage. So it's unfortunate. I go out into my Blastoise next. I'm going to go for an Ice Beam. It looks like in 3 shots it has left over. It's going to wake up the next turn after my next Ice Beam. It's going to go for a Recover. I go for an Ice Beam, almost knocks him out. He's not going to go for a Recover in this stage. He goes for a Venoshock. I survive it with 8 HP, and Blastoise with so much HP ends up Ice Beaming and knock out the Mo with the tank of a lifetime. Thank you, Blastoise. Now we knock out Agatha. We're gonna move on and face off against Lance next. Lance is gonna be the 4th Elite Four member. We start the battle off against him using my Venutoise. I'm able to go for a, well, I don't go for anything at all. He just knocks me out. So I go out into my Blastoise next. Blastoise is gonna go for an Ice Beam to eventually knock him out in 2 shots. It's gonna waste all the full restore, so you know what? It works out for me. and his next Pokemon will be Septidactyl, which goes for a Drain Punch. I then go out into my Volcatoise, which it only wants to use Drain Punch. I swear it has other moves. It gotta be Part Flying as well, but it works out for me as I'm able to go for a Bug Buzz and knock him out. His next Pokemon will be his Shandomori, which I go for Equivalence. He goes for Fire Blast and Air Slash only, so he only has special moves against me. So I decided to just get boosted all the way up and then just risk it. So Bug Buzz will 2-shot him, which is nice. And then his next Pokemon will be his Dark Knight. Dark Right Dragonite goes down in 1 shot. His next Pokemon will be a Dewbat, which I have Fiery Dance as well to knock out his Dewbat. And his final Pokemon will be his Agements, which I'm going to go for Fiery Dance, knock him out pretty easily. And from there, we beat down Lance. Moving on, facing off against Blue next. Blue is going to be the champion of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Volcatoise. His first Pokemon will be a Ninsharp, which goes for Iron Head against me. I can't outspeed him because he has Speed Boost. I barely survive an Exeter as I'm able to go for Fiery Dance, make him waste a Full Restore, which works out pretty well as I'm able to knock him out with Fiery Dance once again. And then from there, he's going to go for his Array, which is Luxray and Arceus. I go for a Bug Buzz. He lets me do this, so it works out pretty well. Don't take a Stone Edge though, as he's going to be low on HP. I go out into my Beator. Beator is able to go for Aqua Tail, almost, not really doing anything. So I go for a Yawn. At least he puts him to sleep. Allows me to go out to my Blastoise. Blastoise is able to go for a Sword Sense and then Dragon Dance. He's going to Full Restore as I go for a Dragon Claw to knock him out. And then that will work out as he goes out to his Haxmans. I go for a Dragon Claw immediately to knock him out. His next Pokemon will be his Ryuyan, which I'm going to go for a Dragon Claw. Almost knocks him out as he goes for a Wish for some reason. So 2-shot it with Dragon Claw. His next Pokemon will be his Torterrion, which I'm able to go for a Dragon Claw and then 2-shot him as well. And his final Pokemon will be his Chandevile, which I'm able to go for an Aqua Tail and knock him out in 1 shot. And we sweep through Champion Blue. Not very entertaining to sweep through the final battle, but you know what? Our team is looking pretty good. Our team actually hold out against the entire Elite Four pretty well. So I thought it was fair to just sweep down the final battle, but that will be the end as we beat through Pokemon Infinite Fusion using only Blastoise Fusion. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. It's really fun to make. It was actually really quick. You can see like about 4-ish hours to complete this entire challenge. Anyways, let me know some other Pokemon you guys want me to see or use down below. I was thinking about using Feebas or something, maybe something more difficult as a fusion. Actually, I do have something in mind for next week. But let me know what kind of fusion Pokemon you guys want me to use in the future. But anyway, thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name is Ben Alpha. Hope you guys all have a great day, and I'm out. Peace.